Well, we're doing some shuffling of guests on this week's program. We've got some tremendous traffic problems here in Los Angeles, but the first one to show up is Matt Chipman. Matt, he's the editor-in-chief of the Green Baron Report. Matt, I don't know how you did it. You're the only one to get here on time, but congratulations.
Well, I only had to drive 20 minutes. Maybe that's it.
Well, you know, it was kind of interesting Wednesday night seeing Obama's address to the joint session of Congress and, you know, outlining his health care proposal, trying to debunk myths. I just mentioned that at the top of the program. That what we're looking at here is something that's going to affect this country's economy for generations to come. And it remains to be seen what we're going to get. They're promising us a bill by Thanksgiving. But are we going to get a real bill, a real reform, or just something that they can say they passed?
Well, the markets typically, Wall Street doesn't like the unknown.
Right.
But all in all, I think they feel the government's behind it. If it does pass, there's going to be a lot of spending. Mm-hmm. You know, the programs, the getting us out of what we had with the banks, you know, is an interesting thing to look back on now, because now you've got a year to look back on it.
Right.
And the government now owns, and maybe at the time we didn't want this, right, but they own a lot of bank paper at low prices.
They do.
You know, imagine when they spin this out going down the road. I mean, that alone, if they could take this out at a 5 multiple or a 10 mm-hmm. multiple and start selling this paper back out to the street, you know, the government could be in a very good place. Now, with health care, you know, I don't want to get political, but, you know, it'll be interesting to see how it all rolls out. I'm not a big fan of the government taking over another large thing like health care. Some things need to be fixed, you know. I'll let them wrangle it out.
Well, it's just kind of interesting because I'm looking at it purely from the perspective of how it's going to affect the economy. And I can't think of too many things that I can say the government has come to the rescue and done a really, really good job. You know, we've seen the situation with the banks. And as you say, if that turns out and they are able to sell that paper at a 4 or 5 multiple, you know, I'll be the first one to wave a red flag down the center of Main Street saying you did a great job on this, because, you know, it did get us out of a real problem.
Yeah. There's still a lot of things that concern me, and it concerns the public about where the markets are heading. Right now, the energy complex is good, so all the energy stocks, the oils and everything, and, you know, even in green energy, you're seeing a lot of strength. The breadth of the market is very good. I mean, this is amazing. We're on our 4th, 5th day up when things look like they were going to start to retreat.
Right.
So, you know, the markets are behaving very good, and it's nice to see. Everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop. But I think the last time I was on your show, we spoke about the economic activity that's going on right now. I think everyone was tired of what was happening in the negative news. And since June, and everybody I'm talking to, business is really strong right now.
Right.
You know, we're afraid of what might happen, but right now we'll take it. And the activity is strong, and it's being translated into the market.
Well, I think a lot is going to weigh very heavily on what happens between now and the end of the year as we start getting into the retail shopping season for the holidays. If the consumers don't come out, there's going to be some real problems in first quarter of 2010.
Yeah, those are the kind of numbers that are going to need to shake out to see where we head next. Do people have money to go spend?
Oh.
We're not quite sure yet. You know, if people have been unemployed, I don't know where they're going to get it from.
Yeah.
But people have been taking a better approach and not getting involved in more credit card debt.
Right.
That's been dropping some. We got some good employment numbers out today, and it's keeping the markets.
Well, I kind of liken the you know, I mean, Ben Bernanke came out this week and just flat out said the recession was over, and you know, that's going to come as a real surprise to the real-time 16% of the people in this country who are real-time unemployed, as opposed to the 9.7% the government's telling us. It's really 16%. But then again, I look at it like a cruise ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. If you're going to come to a stop, it takes a long time for that to come to a stop before you can reverse course, and I think that's what we're seeing here. You know, whether we've hit the bottom or not, whether the academic definition of a recession, which is, you know, a certain number of months of negative growth, is over, really is going to present itself really in the next 3 months.
Yeah, and there's some troubling signs. You know, you see gold prices continue to strengthen. That's a little troubling. We have a lot of debt to pay back. If some of these government bonds or these note auctions or bill auctions don't go as expected, right, or there's no buyers around, that could start surfacing at any time. And if interest rates go back up because we can't sell our debt, that's going to slow things down too.
I find it very, very difficult to think that the Fed has anything but its hands tied behind its back with respect to interest rates. I mean, they know they can't do anything with interest rates for the foreseeable future because it would choke off any hope of a recovery that we could expect in fourth quarter of this year or in the first half of 2010.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, they can't. They aren't going to raise rates, and they can't lower rates anymore because they're already at the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see how to watch the short-term rates and how they fluctuate.
I mean, I think there's a lot of cause for optimism, but I guess we'll call it careful optimism going forward, at least for the next 6 to 9 months. Again, the Green Baron Report, if people want to know more about you, where can they get that information?
Go to thegreenbaron.com. Click any Join Now icon. You can start receiving our reports and updates and alerts for free. We just came out with an alert this morning we think is going to do very good over the next 30 days, particularly. That is in green energy, and I think it's a wonderful play to look at right now.
Matt Chipman, the Green Baron Report. Go to thegreenbaron.com. Matt, your analysis is always appreciated. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Don.
Take care.